Hello and welcome to this place on the internet where I talk about all the things I make, mostly knitting, and I am here to share with you the things I have been working on the past few weeks. Welcome everybody, I hope you had a nice festive season, and just let's get started with the things I want to talk about. The first thing is the thing I'm wearing. I always start with what I'm wearing, and today that is a finished object, so that's very nice. I can show two things at once. I see it's a little bit dark on the camera. Let's see if I can fix that. The weather outside is not very stable with the sunshine, so I hope we can fix this. Let's see if it will focus again. So this cardigan is my finished object. It is the Morginn cardigan. It's in a Laine issue and the designer is Katrin, or I'm not sure the designer's name. I will put it in the description box down below. It is supposed to be oversized. It's a little bit more oversized. Look, it really is a very long cardigan. It's supposed to be oversized. I used a little bit thicker yarn, but stick to the stitch count in the pattern, so it's a little bit more oversized than it should be, which was totally on purpose. So I'm very happy how it turned out. Because of the thicker yarn, my row gauge was different, so the armholes, like it's a raglan shaped cardigan, so there's a lot of room over here, and my sleeve starts a little bit before my elbow, so yeah, very oversized, but I am very happy with how it turned out. There are buttons here. The only thing is that I did not have the right size buttons, so I really like these green ones I had laying around, but they are too small for the buttonholes, and I think this cardigan needs very big buttons, so that will be something I'm going to look for in the coming weeks. So I have it all finished up and I can close it properly and things like that. So that was my finished object. I made a few alterations. As I said, my stitch count was a little bit different, so I stopped the sleeves a little bit early. I did the increases. I did the same amount of decreases, only a little bit faster, because otherwise my sleeve would be like this. Also, it's fisherman's rib, so it's very stretchy, and I know this will even grow more than it is. So it will be even more oversized than it's now. So that's also something I had to calculate. And another thing I modified is around the sleeves. I was very afraid that I would not have enough yarn, so I cheated on the inside of the pockets. I put a different yarn. No one will see that, so that's fine. But I was also afraid, like, the last thing you do is the button band, and I was afraid that I wouldn't have enough yarn to finish the button band, and that would be, yeah, I think that would be very disappointing, because that it's in front and I wanted it in the same yarn as the rest of the cardigan. So what I did is I made the pockets a little bit shorter at first, and also the distance on the bottom is a little bit shorter, and then I did the button bands, and then I had a little bit of yarn left over, and I picked up, you can see it on the inside, that there is like a seam going on. I picked up stitches on the top of the pocket, knitted a few centimeters, and attached those on the outside of the cardigan. So the pockets are a little bit more visible than they should have been, but I don't mind, and they're practical. I can fit my hand in it now, and it's fine. Nobody will notice except the people who know, which is now the whole internet. But no, it will be fine. Nobody will notice, and that's in that way I was sure I could finish all the parts of the cardigan in the same yarn. This is how much I have left over. It looks like quite a lot. I did not put it on a... I did not weigh it, so I don't know how much it is. But it's quite a thick yarn, so it's not very much. And I don't know how many rows I could have squeezed in without running out of yarn. So I'm very happy with how I did that. And maybe this will be maybe it's enough for a little headband or something. Like, the weather is very cold and I don't... Normally I have my hair... I forgot it. Normally I have my hair like up in a bun because it gets in the way. I don't like it when it's too much around my face and stuff. And this is not fun when you're wearing hats. So I'm thinking about making headbands and wearing those as a hat, so my ears will be warm and nice in wintertime. So maybe this leftover will become that. And I don't think I have anything else to add. I'm very happy with it, and I have been wearing it since the day I finished it. So perfect. Okay. I have more finished objects, and this one had to wait a little because those had to be finished first. And I say those because these are 3 of the same items. Maybe Dutch viewers know or they don't, I don't know, but I joined a knitting contest in last year. So it started September 2021 and the final was in March, I think, or April, March or April. So it was half a year with a lot of knitting, and I was third. I had third place there, so I could have a collaboration with Wolwerkjes as one of my prizes, and I made a design and I finished the shawls. It's a shawl pattern, and the pattern is over there with them for review and stuff like that. But I finished the knitting and most of the writing, so I can show you what I have been working on. I made 3 versions of the same shawl, and it's a very long shawl. This is done with a gradient. I will show the other ones in a minute. But what's fun, and I don't know if you can see, is for the first half this side is straight and this one is going out, and the other half it's the other way around. So it's not triangular, but like a wedge. And the reason I did that is because when you wear it, you don't have the big points in front, so you can wear it more like a scarf. And the lines are going a little bit off grain, like not straight, because of the deepest point of the shawl is a little bit on an angle, and it makes it a little bit more playful. So yeah, that was the idea. It's very easy. It's knit in 1x1 rib. I made sure that the edges look clean. And what the fun thing is, because it's knitted in 1x1 rib back and forth, both sides look similar, so you don't have a front and a back. It's very reversible. And you use a special increase and a special decrease, and that's it. Like, it's not difficult or anything. You have to learn one type of increase, one type of decrease, and that's basically it. Knit, purl. So, and the idea behind this shawl is that it's supposed to be an easy pattern that you can choose your own yarns, mix yarns together and make it really, really you. So it doesn't matter which weight you use. The pattern is also written in a way that it doesn't say you have to knit this many rows. You have to be sure to measure your knitting, like how long do you want to make your shawl. So you have the midway point, which is important. And you have the first half and you have the second half. Because of the idea of you can mix yarns together and make it very much your own, I made 3 versions to show you that you can really use different things. So this one is made with a sock yarn, which is the gradient yarn, and a cotton yarn for the second color. And I want the second color to be quiet and peaceful, because otherwise it would distract from the nice gradient. So that's the first version. I made a version with a alpaca yarn. I don't know if you can see, but it's very fuzzy and super soft. I think it's softer than mohair, and it's alpaca silk blend. So it's very soft, no nylon in it. And the pattern is completely the same. I only made it a little bit longer. And because of the different types of yarn I used, it's a little bit more drapey, so it will have effect on the way the shawl behaves, but the pattern is exactly the same. So I used a alpaca silk blend and a cotton yarn again. And yeah, it's a little bit bigger than the other one, but the shape is exactly the same. And yeah, I really like this shape of shawl. You can tie it if you want to, you don't have to. You can also just lay it, just let it hang. You can drape it over your shoulders. You can wear it with a nice dress as kind of a bolero. So I'm very, very happy with that. Those were both quite thin yarns. So I made a third version, and the third version I held 2 strands of a cotton yarn together. Of course you can choose to use a thicker yarn, but the reason I did it like this is again to show you like you're not stuck with the weight of yarn you have. You can held things double and make a thicker yarn. So that's what I did with this. So the stripes are a little bit more pronounced in this one because the stitch gauge is yeah, the stitches are larger. So completely out of cotton this one. Held double the strands, and it feels a little bit more heavy. And again, it's just a very nice, it's the same shape, so you can wear it however you want, but I really like to wear it with the points to the front and maybe tie it or not. Mm-hmm. So those are the 3 shawls I made, and you can make it completely your own. You can use hand-dyed yarn, you can use multicolored yarn, you can use wool, you can use cotton, you can use linen, you can use anything, as long as you keep the 2 strands more or less the same weight. So in this one, the alpaca yarn was way thinner than the cotton yarn, and to make the stitches a little bit more even, I held the alpaca yarn together, 2 strands together. So that's how you can play with yarn weight and combine almost any yarn with each other. I think it's also very fun to use a textured yarn and a smooth yarn, and you can play with it. And that was the idea behind this pattern. When it will be released, I will let you know, but this is a project I've been working on for quite a long time, on and off. So yeah, I hope you like it, and I hope you will hear more from it. And I just wanted to share what I have been working on for quite a while now. So now my hands are free for other projects, and I do have a lot of projects on my mind. Like, I really want to cast on a lot of things, but I first want to finish something I have been working on for quite a while. and I just took it out of its bag, so I have not worked a stitch on it yet, but this will be the project that I will be working on for the coming weeks, I think. And it's the Mooi shawl, which was in the 52 Weeks of Shawls book by Laine. I do it in a thicker yarn than is recommended, and I think I've shown it before. It's a very nicely shaped scarf. It's straight, so it's a scarf, right? And I'm very happy with how it's working out, and I think the pattern says repeat this part 3 times, and I think I'm going to do it just twice, because it's going to be very big anyway, and I don't think I have enough yarn to make it a 3-time repeat. I'm knitting this out of Plutelopi, which I got from a very good friend, I think 2 years ago. And it was very hard for me to pick the right pattern, because people most of the time don't buy yarn from me, because you know I'm a bit picky with my yarn choices. But she did it anyway, and I'm so happy with the choice she made. She's not a knitter herself, she's learning and she's trying, but only recently. So yeah, it's very special that she picked this out for me, and I really want to finish this, and I think this will be a perfect thing with the cold weather, also on the couch, like just wrapping around me and feel cozy and be happy. And I really want this thing finished, so I think this will be the next big project I will be working on. And I did new cast on. I cast on the yarn I bought at Breidagen. It is schaapjeswol, which is a Dutch brand that uses Dutch sheep to make wool out of. It's a little bit more, people say rustic. I don't know if that's a word that means really anything, but I think people know what you mean when you say rustic. It's a little bit more hard wearing, but not, it's a little bit stiffer to knit with, but it's not scratchy or anything. I think some people might think this is scratchy, but once you start using those kinds of yarns, they really soften up, especially if you steam it or block it or put it in your bed for a night or 2. The movement of the sheets will make it so much softer. But anyway, I'm knitting with this yarn, and this is going to be the mamelucker. I think it's called mamelucker. It's a free pattern from, I will put it in the description box below. It's a free pattern. I think it originally was a Swedish pattern, but it's translated in a lot of languages, and I prefer to use the English version, but I think it might even be in Dutch, but I'm not sure of that. But there are a lot of languages. It's written in one size, but at the bottom of the pattern there is a explanation on how to make it in your own size. So you have to do a little bit of calculations, and then you can make it fit your own body. You start at the top, so this will be the waistband. It's knitted in 2x2 rib, and as you can see it's very stretchy, so this will fit over my hips but will be cinched in at my waist. I think I have to go 4 more centimeters, so a little bit less than 2 inches to finish this part. And then the real fun, this is, I heard someone say boring knitting. I don't think there is such a thing as boring knitting. I think there is mindless knitting, and I think there is knitting that needs a little bit more brain space. 2x2 rib for me is mindless knitting. So I take this to the swimming pool when my youngest child has swimming lessons. I take this with me when I have to be social, but not. It's not inappropriate to knit. I knit this in front of the telly. I don't have to look at it. It's just 2x2 rib and I love it. I need this kind of knitting sometimes. So, but I'm very much looking forward to the fun part, like the more intrigued part where you make the legs and space for your behind and stuff like that. I'm very much looking forward to it. So it's I think maybe one day, like in between knitting, when I have a cup of coffee or things like that, maybe watch some telly. I think I need only one more day before I can start the rest of the pattern. I dropped stitches, so I'm just picking them up. I know it won't be lathering down that fast, but I don't want to lose any stitches. So that's what I'm working on, and the more I work with it, the more I begin to love this color. I already liked it when I bought it, but my first thing was like a black or a grey, but because I most of the times wear black skirts and black leggings, so I was like, well, maybe I should go safe in black, and when it peeks out, nobody will see. But the more I was thinking about it, it would be so fun to make it in a color. And the lady who helped me pick the color at the stand, we had a very hard laugh about the orange underpants. So I'm very, very happy, and this color just makes me smile every time I see it, so it's perfect. And I think those are all the things I have been working on. I cast on one other thing, like this. This is the start of a cowl, but I'm not gonna knit it. I only did the ribbing, and this is going to a friend of mine who wants to start knitting again and really likes the mindless knitting of just knitting stockinette. So she's gonna knit this in stockinette, and when that's finished, like, it will be a cowl, so it will scrunch up. So I think when she has like this much, I will learn her how to do a purl stitch so she can knit the other ribbing herself. But putting this on the needles for her makes it a lot easier for her to start. So I'm always very glad to do that, and I hope she will like the color. So that's another thing I cast on, and I'm looking around. Maybe people have noticed the setup is a little bit different. I reorganized my working space. I sometimes have the need to do that. There were a few reasons to do that, but that's why the setup is a little bit different. I'm still learning how to work with the light in this direction, so excuse me if it's not perfect. Which it won't be perfect anyway, but it's a little bit harder to manage now because it's a little bit from behind side, so it makes it a little bit harder to manage. But that's why I'm looking around, like all my stuff is in a different place, so I don't know where I put my project. Yeah, I can't see my works in progress at the moment, so that's why I'm thinking very hard, is there anything else I want to show you? So this is the project I want to work on again. This is one I casted on. I know I have a pair of socks lying around that really should be finished. I don't know, I really want to knit all the socks, but I have to finish that particular pair first for myself, because otherwise that will be languishing, and I just need to finish it and then start a new pair of socks. So that's something that should be done, and then I think I am allowed to cast something on, and I'm not sure if it will be another shawl or, but this is also like a scarf shawl thing. So I think the next thing I will cast on is this one, which I have been talking about a few weeks now. This will be a lovely sweater, and I don't have any garments on the needles. I don't count this as a garment. I don't know why, but no big cardigans or sweaters on my needles at the moment. So I think this might get casted on somewhere this week as well. Maybe as a New Year treat for myself. Who knows? We will see next episode, right? So for now, this is all I want to talk to you about. Have a very nice end of the year, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.